Welcome to the Video Masters livestream series. We have specifically designed this livestream series to help you win with YouTube. We're going to focus on helping you to sell, plan, measure effective video campaigns. We're going to start with the first session today, which is about building an effective proposal. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm a brand specialist. So let's get started, but I just want to remind you that you can ask questions at the end, and I'll be answering all of them. So let's now get started. So do you remember those days when after dinner we would sit all together in front of the TV paying attention to the big screen? Those days are over. And with this, I don't want to say that TV is over, because it's not over. TV is working really well. The power of sight, motion, and sound is still powerful. However, viewing behaviors are changing, and this is the new picture that we see today in our living rooms. People watching TV, the kids paying attention to their mobile phone, some other kids paying attention to their laptop or their tablet, because viewing behavior is actually changing, and it's changing really fast. Mobile explosion is causing device fragmentation. So we now use different devices to access content. For example, you can see the graph here in the UK. We spend almost half of the time on digital, and we're spending a bit less time on TV, specifically on some demographics. So if people are spending less time on TV, specifically younger demographics, where are people spending time on? People are spending more and more time on digital, as we can see from this graph here, and they are spending a lot of time on mobile devices. So with viewing behaviors actually changing and shaping the way that we consume information now and entertainment, these TV and brand buyers are struggling with many new issues and questions about digital across the buying path. And the planning stage becomes even more important now, because advertisers need to understand where are their customers, where are they consuming content now? Are they using TV? Are they using YouTube? Are they using digital in general, mobile devices, desktop devices? How much reach they can get on all these sites and devices? What type of content are they consuming, and how can I best influence my consumers? These are all questions that advertisers are asking themselves, and they need to ask themselves, because consumer patterns are changing, and it's important to plan accordingly. Once we have answers to all these questions from the planning stage, the next step is the buying stage, where new questions should arise here. So what are the optimal strategies to get the reach and frequency that I need? And once we know the answers for these two phases, the planning phase and the buying phase, it's extremely important to focus on measurement. How is it working? How are our campaigns working? Are they effective? How should I be optimizing them to get better results? So we're going to talk about planning, buying, and measurement during our live stream series, but today we're going to focus more on the planning stage. So our mission in Google is to partner with agencies like you to deliver scale solutions designed specifically for brand advertisers that enable them to easily and effectively plan, buy, and measure their brand campaigns. So we're going to focus in these live streams to help you to deliver these scale solutions thanks to YouTube. We're going to focus today on the planning stage, as I mentioned. So let's see how actually planning can help us achieve our mission. So here are some examples of requests that agencies get on their daily basis. So let's see if they sound familiar to you. For example, sometimes you get clients that came to you with a psychographic that they are asked to turn into a media plan. Some other times, your client wants to get more guidance on the targeting selection for a specific campaign planning. And some other times, for example, the client is looking for a more effective media mix, because they know their audience, it's a bit younger, they are spending less and less time on TV, and they need to find where they can reach their audience. So they are asking you for an effective media mix and for reach estimations. So these questions and much more can be answered with a good planning in place. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on getting some of these questions answered. So there's different planning stages. The first one is strategic planning. This is about understanding who is your audience. It's all about uncovering trends in your category and discovering what are the passions and the interests of your target audience. This is extremely important before we start planning any campaign, understanding who's your audience and which are their passions and their interests. The second stage for planning is channel planning. We're going to spend a little bit more time on channel planning because it's extremely important to understand how we can reach people, whether it's on TV, on YouTube, and which is the optimal split between TV and YouTube and the commercial YouTube reach for a given audience. And finally, we're going to talk about campaign planning. We're going to talk about how to plan a campaign according to the business objectives that we have in mind and how to adapt the creative, the targeting, and the budget to ensure good results. It's really important to understand that what works on TV not always works on YouTube. So that's why understanding how to adapt creatives and selecting a good targeting option is extremely important to ensure the success of our campaigns. So we're going to talk about campaign planning as well. We're going to go more in detail with the 3 planning stages now, and we're going to show you some tools that can help you in the 3 stages of planning a YouTube campaign. So I'm going to start with strategic planning. As I said, this is all about understanding your target audience and their passions and interests. So we're going to cover trends in your category. So there's different tools that we can actually use to get insights and to understand the passions and interests of your target audience. So I'm going to focus now on 3 tools that you have available externally. So you can just Google these tools and you'll be able to find them. The first one is Google Trends. I find this tool really, really useful because it gives you real-time data and information to understand consumer search behaviors over time. We previously launched this tool for journalists so that they could find information about what's trending right now on Google. However, marketers find it really useful because they can find information about products, events, and services that are important to their audience. So let me maybe show you what we can see in the Google Trends tool. So this is how it looks like. So this is the main overview that we get in the Google Trends tool. Here we can see an overview of what is now important to, for example, United States. Of course, we can change here the country. And because this is we're doing this live stream from Dublin and Europe. Let's see if we can change this to UK. Let me see if now it works. Maybe we need to refresh it. Well, this always happens when you're trying to do things online and then you cannot change. But usually you can easily change here the country and you can select UK. And then you get information about what is important for a given country. What are the stories trending now? You can also get information about what's trending on YouTube. So which are the YouTube videos that people are watching right now? You can also, of course, here select a country, and now this works, which is great. And there's something very interesting as well about this tool, which are the trending searches. So you can, for example, here look at a specific search term, for example, Coca-Cola, and see the interest over time. And you can even compare it with a competitor. For example, let's say Pepsi. And you can actually see here the comparison between Coca-Cola and Pepsi over time. So you can see here, you know, which countries have more interest in one or the other. You can see related queries here as well. And you can see, related queries per region. So it's a tool that is very interesting to uncover some trends in your category to understand interest over time. But let's see other tools that can also be very, very helpful to uncover some trends and to discover passions and interests from your target audience. For me, the most interesting one is the Google surveys, which are formerly known as Google Consumer Surveys. So these are really useful because they help researchers get answers to their questions. For example, if they want to understand how specific category is thinking, so they can just type their question, they choose the number of responses that they want to get, and they just check out the results. Usually the number of questions we recommend to get between 1,000 and 1,500 questions if we want to make sure that we get good results. So of course it's based on a sample of people, and then you need to extrapolate this to understand, to apply it to a larger audience. So Google surveys is really useful. So a lot of people ask me, so where are these surveys appearing, right? So we actually embed them in online news providers, in sites, entertainment sites, research sites, etc. And we also have an app, I think it's called Google Reviews app, or Google Review Responses, where people also answer these questions in exchange for credit in the Google Play, or if it's not within this app, they exchange this and they give their answers in exchange of getting access to some content. So really useful tool. We do have another tool that is called Consumer Barometer. I find it really useful as well because you can get country-specific data on consumers' device preference and also how people make purchase decisions. This is a really interesting tool. Let's have a look as well at what you can find in Consumer Barometer. So if you go to the graph builder here, you can see information. You can select a country. In this case, I selected France, but you can see here information about internet user segmentation. You can find information about the different device usage, for example, types of device use, longevity of device use, etc. So really useful. You also have trended data here. You can select the country that you're interested in. You can select a specific demographic if you wish, and then you can get information such as percentage of people who access the internet, percentage of people who access the internet daily, and you have a lot of other information that is interesting here. You even have some audience stories to get information about how digital moms are behaving online, information about millennials' user behavior. So it's a really useful tool as well. So these are the tools that are available externally to all of you. You just need to Google them. Google Trends and Consumer Barometer, they are free tools. Google Surveys, it's a paid tool. You need to pay depending on the number of answers that you want to get. There's also another tool that every advertiser that owns a website and wants to drive traffic to a website should be using, which is Google Analytics. It's a really useful tool to uncover trends and discover passions and interests from a given audience. This tool can give you information about how are users engaging with your site? What's your audience interested in? Sometimes you'll see that, for example, people that are visiting your website, they are very interested in traveling as well. So then you can create campaigns and focus on people that are looking for traveling sites. You can get information about demographics, how they perform, where is the audience located, etc. So I highly recommend to use Google Analytics to uncover trends as well. This is a really powerful tool that can get you insights directly from users who visit your website. So highly recommend it. However, we do have a lot of other internal tools that if you contact with your account manager, we can provide you with these tools. We can provide you with country-specific YouTube data. For example, for France, if you want to know exactly how is reach distributed on YouTube across France, we can provide you with this information. We can also provide you with information such as which are the top searches for a specific category, how they evolve year over year. We can get you information about top YouTube channels per category and country, and even the top searches for a specific topic. So what I would recommend you here is to make sure that you get in contact with your account manager, because we can help you to get a lot of insights that can help you build really good proposals. So just reach out to us. We will give you this information. Some of this information, as I said, it's not available externally, but you can work with your account manager and we'll be able to provide you with good estimates and really good insights. Let's now move on to channel planning. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on channel planning because this is the most important planning stage that we have and that we need to focus on before building a YouTube campaign. Channel planning, it's really important to understand which is the optimal split between TV and YouTube in case that we have TV campaigns running, but also to understand which is the commercial YouTube reach for a given audience. We're going to talk a lot about reach because reach is really important if you want to grow your brand. So let's talk a little bit about why reach matters first before understanding which tools and which kind of insights we can provide you and you should be looking at before building a YouTube campaign. So why reach is important? I always like to start talking about reach with this slide because I think that it kind of puts the trade-off between frequency and reach. It takes the trade-off between frequency and reach to the extreme. The question that a lot of advertisers have is, should I be focusing more on reaching maybe less people at a higher frequency or reaching more people with less frequency? So of course, the ideal scenario, if you have enough budget, is to reach a lot of people and with a good enough frequency. However, if this is a trade-off you need to decide on, it's far more efficient to focusing on reaching more people at a lower frequency. So this is something that Byron Sharp already talked about, and he's been talking about it for a long time in his book, How Brands Grow. If you've never read this book, I highly recommend it to you because Byron Sharp, he's a professor on marketing science, and he talks about how brands grow and the importance of reaching a lot of people and building mental availability to grow our brand. He's saying that it's far more effective to focusing on increasing market penetration, on reaching a lot of people, than loyalty programs. He says that focusing on always reaching the same people again and again, it's not as effective as focusing on reaching a lot of new people. So if you have to spend your budget on something, he's not recommending you to spend your budget on costing loyalty programs. He says that if you really want to build awareness and grow your brand, you need to focus on reaching more people. So that's why reach is important. And we want to show you how you can actually plan and estimate reach and the optimal reach between TV and YouTube as well. So we talk about the importance of reach. So now let's see how reach is distributed among different demographics. So one of the things that we can see here is, first of all, as we said, YouTube is still working really well. It works. However, we've seen that in certain demographics, viewing behavior is decreasing. And this means that other platforms are increasing. For example, digital video. We've seen that since 2010, YouTube has increased a 58%, which is a lot. And we've seen that actually certain demographics are watching less and less TV, especially younger demographics. So these people are now moving to digital, and we need to be effective. We need to make sure that we balance reach and frequency, and we need to make sure that we understand the reach that we have in the different platforms. So we do have several tools that can help us achieve this, and we're going to talk about this. So we always say in Google that YouTube and TV make perfect partners, because there's always a point in your YouTube plan at which every euro that you spend would reach more unique users on YouTube than on TV. So if we focus on reaching the same people again and again, we're going to get a lot of frequency, but we might not be able to get these light TV viewers that that are watching less and less TV and that are moving to other platforms. So as people spend more and more time online and less time watching TV, especially younger demographics, as we said, adding YouTube to a TV campaign will improve actually the audience reach for the same cost. So we're not asking to add YouTube on top and spending more money. We just want to show you how adding YouTube to a TV campaign with the same budget can actually help you to distribute and balance reach and frequency across all demographics. So this is an overall view of GRP's distribution among different demographics. We can see that this is information that is globally. So we can see here that actually GRPs on YouTube are higher for younger demographics, and of course GRPs for TV are higher for older demographics. So that's why it's so important to balance this reach and this frequency by using different platforms, by understanding which platforms can help you get more people and reach more people. So here's how some of the tools work. We have some tools that actually can help you get an understanding of how much reach you can get by advertising on YouTube, because there's some light TV viewers, and these light TV viewers, YouTube can actually provide a lot of extra reach here. Typically, these light TV viewers are millennials or cord cutters, etc. So we actually ran a study not that long ago where we took 3,000 campaigns and we analyzed millennial behavior. So basically what we did is we analyzed whether adding YouTube to the TV plan would actually help to get more reach, more millennial reach in these campaigns. And we saw that this was the case for the 86% of the campaigns. And the reach increased by 42%. The millennials' reach increased 42% when adding YouTube to a TV plan using exactly the same budget. Of course, if you add more budget, you can reach more people and you are even more effective. So with this, I want to now show you an example of reach estimations that we can provide you. So we do have, as I said, a lot of different tools that can help you to provide estimations in terms of reach, that can help you to understand how much reach you would get if you combine YouTube plus TV. So here we want to show you an example of which kind of insights we can provide you. So after showing you these insights, the takeaway that I want you to take from here is to make sure that you reach out to your account manager to get these kind of estimations for a specific campaign that you want to build for an advertiser that you're working with. So let's have a look at a real example. So the example that we chose here is an Android campaign. So basically we took an Android campaign, and this is a tool that we use internally, but of course we can share all this information with you that can actually help us understand what would happen if we take just the 15% of the TV budget and we put it into YouTube? What would be the new GRP distribution? What would be the new frequency and the reach that you would get? Just remember, for the ones that are not that familiar with GRP terms, so GRP means reach per frequency. So in some of the cases, you'll see that you can get either more GRPs by combining YouTube and TV and spending exactly the same budget that you are spending on TV. So you can see that sometimes maybe you get a bit less frequency, but you get a lot more reach. So in this case here, we can see that by using the combined media plan, they can effectively reach 11% more of the target audience while keeping the same budget. So this is really interesting information that you can see, that you can share with your advertisers if they want to get an estimation of how YouTube and TV can work together to reach their target audience. This is another interesting information that you can get with these estimations, with these rich estimations for YouTube and TV together. So you can actually see the GRP distribution and the rich distribution of light TV viewers, medium TV viewers, and heavy TV viewers. And you can see the lift that you would get in each of them. So it depends on the campaign, you get different numbers, but in the majority of campaigns, you see that we see like a big lift in light TV viewers, because of course they don't watch TV that often, and by focusing only on investing on TV, we keep reaching over and over and over the same people. However, by adding YouTube to the TV plan, we can actually balance this frequency and this reach across different demographics and be more effective. You can see also here the GRP distribution among different demographics and the uplift that you would get in some demographics. In some other demographics, which are much older, we see less uplift, as you can see, but in some demographics, you can see much more uplift. So it really depends on the campaign that you have. You can also see for a given campaign the number of impressions that you would get for a given budget on TV and YouTube, the GRPs, how they're going to be distributed across TV and YouTube, the reach that you get, the frequency that you get in each platform, and the cost that you would have. So again, we're using this information based on information that we get from third parties and adding information from our YouTube GRPs. So we're combining this information to get you estimates. And what we can tell you is that we have like very accurate estimates. We've been working really hard to get estimations that are accurate and that our advertisers can trust. And we have ways to actually prove them the success of these estimations. So actually prove that the number of people that we plan to reach, we were able to reach it. So we're going to talk about measurement in another live stream, but this is how you can actually plan to get the optimal split between YouTube and TV. So this is in case that you're running TV campaigns. But what happens if you're not running TV campaigns? Can you also get reach estimations to understand with a given budget how much people you could reach in a given demographic? Yes, you can. We do have tools as well that can help us understand the reach that you could get if you spend a specific amount of money. So for example, here you can see that in the United Kingdom, for 1 million, you can reach 54% of people ages 18 to 49 years old. So this tool is really useful as well to understand how much money you would need to reach a specific number of people. We have this information available not only by demographics, but you can also select an affinity target. You can say, okay, so now I want to understand for people that are based in the UK and that have between 18 to 44 years old and that are interested in beauty products. I want to understand how much I need to spend to achieve a specific reach goal. So very useful. So again, feel free to reach out to us to ask us for this kind of insights, because this is what's going to help you to get great estimates and to plan and to make sure that you are working towards a specific direction. So now let's move on and talk about campaign planning, which is also really important because it will help you plan your campaign according to a business objective. It will show you how you need to adapt creatives, the targeting, and the budget if you want to ensure good results. Sometimes I get advertisers that reach out to me saying, oh, I wanted to move brand awareness, but I actually was not able to do that. And then when I go and look at the campaign that they are running, the only thing that they did is they took the TV campaign and they put it on YouTube, they wanted to drive brand awareness without having brand appearances at the beginning of the ad. And it's a different platform. If you're using a skippable format, people might skip the ad. If you want to drive brand awareness, you might want to add brand appearances from the beginning. So it really depends on the business objective that you have. You need to plan accordingly. So that's why it's so important to plan this ahead and to, first of all, understand which is your business objective. And once you know which is your business objective, focus on creating and adapting a specific creativity and focusing on a specific targeting. So there's different business objectives that we have, that usually brand advertisers have in mind. One could be awareness, making sure that people, users, remember our brand. Another objective could be consideration, moving advertisers to consider and intend to buy from you. Another objective could be action, which means moving users to drive a specific action online, for example, buying something. So it really depends on the objectives that you have. You need to think about different campaigns. Sometimes you have all these objectives and you need to start with one creative that can help you to drive awareness, another one that can help you drive consideration, another one that can help you drive action. Or sometimes you want to use one and try to see if you can actually achieve all these objectives. It's also possible, but it's a lot more challenging. So let's review a little bit what you need to focus on depending on the objective that you have in mind. However, let me first talk about the metrics that you need to consider for each business objective, because it depends on the metrics that you want to, on the objectives that you have. You'll need to select different metrics. We're going to talk about measurement later on. It's going to be the last session that we're going to have from these Video Masters live stream sessions. However, we want to start talking a little bit about this because it's important to have a metric in mind that you want to move before starting with the campaign and before analyzing results. So depending on the business objective, we always recommend you to select one or two first look metrics that can actually help you understand that you're reaching the audience the way you want, so that you're reaching the people that you want. And then one or two validating metrics that can help you understand that you're reaching the audience towards a specific action that you want to drive. It could be a click, it could be a conversion, or it could be you want to drive awareness or ad recall. So our tip here is to simplify things. Only select one or two first look metrics and one or two validating metrics. Don't try to focus on all the metrics because it could be a bit overwhelming. Depending on the metrics you have, you'll be able to see exactly what measurement solutions would work better, and you're going to be able to understand which kind of creatives you should be focusing on, which targeting you should be selecting, etc. So in terms of measurement solutions, we're going to talk about this, as I said, in the last live stream session that we're going to have. Brandleaf is usually our best-in-class measurement solution that can help us understand how effective are our video campaigns. So it focuses on metrics such as brand awareness, purchase intent, favorability, etc. And basically it compares whether being exposed to a video ad has increased the awareness or the ad recall. We're going to talk about this later, as I said. We also have other metrics such as unique reach or active view that can help you understand awareness and consideration. These are a bit more upper funnel measurement solutions. And for those customers that are focused on driving a specific actions, we also have total conversions. So let's now move on and look at the different business objectives that an advertiser might have and see what actually would work better. So first of all, when advertisers want to focus on awareness, usually we're talking about advertisers that want to focus on big moments. For example, they have a product launch or a sales peak and they want to create brand awareness. Usually the targeting suggestions that we would recommend is focusing on broader audiences, for example, demographics or affinities. So it's all about reaching as many people as possible, because what you want is to drive awareness, brand awareness across different people. So starting big, it's important. Usually people who are focused on awareness, they orchestrate their campaigns across different platforms. They put a lot more money because it's when, as I said, they have like a product launch, a sales peak, and it's an important moment for them. In terms of creative best practices, if you want to move brand awareness, it's really important that you have brand appearances, both visual and audible, appearing from the beginning. Branding early actually increases awareness and ad recall. It's true that it can sometimes suppress a view-through rate, because if you see the brand from the beginning, you might be reducing the view-through rates. However, you need to decide on what's more important for you. And if you want to avoid having short view-through rates, using a product rather than the logo, we've seen that actually works much better. So here is an example of a campaign from TikTok that they seamlessly integrate the brand into the creative. So basically they are using this YouTube creator that always do this kind of videos to show actually to integrate TikTok in the creative. So again, if you want to build brand awareness, always try to have brand appearances appearing from the beginning. If your main objective is consideration, then you need to think about different targeting options and creative suggestions. So this ad here, Barbie ad, I would highly recommend you to watch it. It's one of the ads that I like the most. It's really nice. It's really good. So Barbie here, what they wanted to do is they wanted to reach out to a new generation of moms and girls to make sure that they kind of change the image that Barbie had. You know, Barbie, there was a kind of a superficial image of Barbie that they wanted to change, and they wanted to actually show that girls can become anything they want. And this is a lovely ad that tried to influence behaviors, tries to driving a specific emotional response. So if you want to influence behaviors, if you want to move consideration, targeting suggestions that we would recommend you is, for example, using remarketing, using affinity, or using topic targeting. In terms of creatives, you need to think about an emotional creative with brand association and with clear call to actions as well. So usually connecting through audio and visuals, it's proved to be really useful if you really want to drive an emotional response, if you want to drive consideration. So think about that before, in the planning stage, before you run the YouTube campaigns. Finally, if you have as a business objective to drive a specific action, you need to think about targeting suggestions such as remarketing or in-market audiences. You need to focus on having a clear call to action, on using cards, using end screens. There's a lot of different tools and features that can help you drive action. And it's important that if you want to drive action, you have to be clear and direct on what you want people to do, whether it's clicking to the website, whether it's watching another video, subscribing to your channel. It's important that you have an objective in mind and that you are clear on what you want people to do. So again, think about it, because if you just add the same TV ad to YouTube, you might not get the response that you want. You need to make sure that you take advantage of all the features that YouTube can provide you to help you move and drive a specific action. So once you've gone through all the planning stages, it's important that you build a solid get to buy statement. So this is something that we use very often in Google, but it ensures that all your partners are working towards a common goal. So usually we focus on understanding, okay, so what do we want to, like, who do we want to get to do what by using what? So let's see an example here. So this is an example from Just for Men. So the get to buy statement that we came up with here is what we want is to get 25 to 64-year-old men who don't like their gray hair but are not currently coloring their hair. So again, try to focus on not only specific demographic, try to go a bit further and try to understand what people really care about. Okay, then the two would be overcome the barriers of trying a Just for Men product. So a lot of people would actually just focus on saying buy Just for Men, but we need to go beyond that. We need to make sure that we don't skip very important phases, which are influencing behaviors, driving consideration. So buying the product is the end goal, but using YouTube and using TV and using brand advertising in general, it's all about helping you to drive a specific action to change behaviors. So this is, you need to focus on understanding the big picture and focusing not only on the end action that you want to drive. Buy, this is more about the media that you want to use to achieve the specific objectives. In this case, it would be moving consideration through digital to tell stories about real guys and show them that our guy-friendly products are easy and fast to use and deliver great-looking results. So I would highly recommend you to use this get to buy statement. I find it very useful for when agencies work with their client, but also with Google, so that we all have a clear understanding of who is your target audience, what do we want them to do, and what media is going to help us to achieve these goals. So this is all we wanted to talk about today. I hope that you understood the importance of having a good planning in place, the importance of using tools to uncover trends and understanding the passions and interests of your target audience. I hope that you understood as well which are the tools that can help you get this information. And even though some of these tools are not available externally to you directly, we wanted to show you the kind of insights that we can provide you, how you can actually find the optimal split between TV and YouTube. We can provide you with reach estimations. If customers don't have like a TV ad running, we can provide you with still reach estimations to understand how you can actually, like, how much money you need to reach a specific number of people. So I hope that this was useful. So now let's review. Let's see if there's any question. So feel free to ask questions here through the chat. Let me see if there's some questions. I don't see any question. Well, don't be shy. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Again, I think that the most important thing here is to understand the importance of planning for reach. So channel planning is extremely important. We can provide you with this information, so just reach out to us. If there's no questions, don't worry. You can ask them. Your account managers will reach out to you. We'll be happy to provide you with estimations to answer all your questions. And if there's no questions, we're going to see you next week in the next live stream session, where we're going to focus more on the different online video solutions that we have in the market, not only Google, and which is the difference between online solutions such as Facebook, TV, YouTube, the different measurement solutions, etc. So I hope that this first session was useful, and there's going to be even more useful sessions coming in the next weeks. So thank you so much for your time. And if there's no questions, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much.